Many men over 60 do not realize that their habits, particularly the way they drink water, may conceal the cause of declining male vitality, fading energy, and falling testosterone. It may seem incredible. I understand how a simple action could lead to such serious consequences. But after 40 years of observing the health of thousands of men, I can say with confidence, the problem is often not age, but our habits. One of the most neglected aspects of health, especially for men, is how they hydrate their bodies each day. I am Dr. Eduardo Vasconcelos, a men's health specialist, and I have devoted my life to understanding and treating men like you. Men who often come to me feeling hopeless and exhausted, convinced that time has taken away what they value most, men in their 60s, 70s, and even 80s. And yet again and again, I am convinced of the remarkable power of simple changes, such as how you drink water, to naturally activate hidden reserves of strength, performance, and confidence. Imagine that even mild dehydration can affect your body negatively. Blood thickens, circulation slows, testosterone drops, and stress hormones reach dangerous levels. In such a state, the body cannot function as efficiently as before. And what if the solution is not expensive drugs, but a single glass of water, used wisely? In this video, I will tell you about 8 scientific findings on hydration and sexual performance that most men learn too late. These are the same principles I apply daily with my patients. At the end, I will show you one simple trick that takes just 7 seconds in the morning. It enhances the effect of water and activates blood flow precisely where it matters most. Stay with me, because this may be the most important information you see this year. But first, if you truly want to improve your health and regain control of your intimate life, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to receive practical, actionable advice tailored to men over 60. If you're ready to learn more about men's intimate health after 60, right, I'm ready. Let's begin. Part 1. An erection starts with blood, and blood starts with water. Before you think about testosterone, libido, or any supplements, there is one truth every man must understand. Without circulation, there is no erection, and without water, blood does not circulate properly. It sounds too simple to be true, but it is basic physiology. Blood is more than 90% water. When you don't drink enough, it loses fluidity, becomes thicker and slower, and the heart must work much harder to move it. The result: less oxygen, fewer nutrients, and less pressure where it matters most, down below. An erection is not magic. It is mechanics. It is a process of pressure. Blood must arrive forcefully, fill the corpora cavernosa of the penis, and be maintained there. But if blood is thick, viscous, or reduced in volume, the body may want to respond and still be unable to. That was the case with SCU Armando, one of my most memorable patients. He was 70. His walks were pleasant, his sleep solid, his tests good, yet he came into the office depressed. "Doctor, I don't know how to go on. The desire is still there, but my body doesn't respond." After a thorough evaluation, I noticed one thing. He barely drank water. Coffee in the morning, juice at lunch, but almost no plain water. I double-checked everything and set him a simple task. Drink water regularly throughout the day, no excess, not cold, but consistently. 2 weeks later, he returned with a radiant smile. I'm not sure if it's a coincidence, but it feels like my body has restarted. Not a coincidence, proper hydration. Many men mistakenly believe that aging equals loss of potency. In reality, the cause is often circulatory dysfunction, and water is key to restoring it. When the body lacks water, it shuts down non-priority functions, and testosterone is one of them. Many assume the age-related decline in testosterone is inevitable. Few realize that a simple lack of water may be behind the reduced activity. Yes, chronic dehydration, even mild, imperceptible, forces the body into energy-saving mode. It prioritizes essential functions, maintaining blood pressure, protecting the kidneys, keeping the brain working. Everything else that is not strictly vital, libido, muscle growth, hormone production, automatically moves to the background. With Mr. Waldemar, a 72-year-old widower with a clear mind and no major medical complaints, I noticed something unusual. He looked at me and said, "Doctor, I don't feel pain, but my life seems to have gone dim. No pain and no depression, yet no motivation, energy, desire, or drive. Behind that fading inner flame was an unspoken fear. Is this the end for me?" I ordered tests, and as I suspected, his testosterone was not dangerously low, but low enough to explain his state. I asked about his routine. He ate reasonably, walked occasionally, slept fairly, but hesitated when I asked about water. Honestly, I hardly drink any, only when I'm really thirsty. That was the key. The fluid deficit had his body in survival mode with elevated cortisol, the stress hormone that suppresses testosterone. Cortisol and testosterone were in constant opposition. As one rose, the other fell. From then on, we implemented a simple hydration practice. Water right after waking, small sips throughout the day, no excess, no cold drinks, and no caffeine before bed. Only consistency brings results. For weeks later, he walked in a different man, clear-eyed, steady stride, a slight smile. "Doctor," amazingly, as if waking from sleep, I began to feel better. I wanted to go out, even reconnect with an old friend I'd lost touch with. That spark in his eyes didn't come from a testosterone injection. It returned thanks to proper routine, normalization of circulation, and the restoration of a system that began working again. This is what many men still don't understand. The issue isn't that your body has failed. It's that it has been signaling for help and you didn't know how to listen. Part 3. Most men drink water, but not all understand how to do it correctly. When I shared hydration secrets with patients, many were puzzled. "Water, doctor? Seriously?" Now, even that has rules. So said S.U. Milton, 69, a former truck driver known for his blunt practicality. He smirked and asked, "What do you want from me?" Before taking a sip of water, I smiled and answered, "No need to pray, but you do need to respect water." Here is where many go wrong. They think hydration means chugging a lot at once, usually when they're already very thirsty. Or they gulp ice-cold water straight from the freezer. The body doesn't work that way. A sudden load of very cold water is not absorbed efficiently. It's like pouring a bucket of water onto a dry sponge. It doesn't soak in, it just runs off. Drinking on the go, while active or moving, is also not ideal. The nervous system is in alert mode, not absorption mode. Hydration effectiveness is not defined by volume, but by consistency. Small sips throughout the day, ideally at room temperature, and, when possible, in a calm state. Even briefly letting water mix with saliva before swallowing promotes better absorption, an age-old practice now supported by science. Milton, skeptical as he was, tried it. He stopped drinking straight from the fridge, carried a small bottle, and drank slowly, mindfully. 3 weeks later, he called the office. "Doctor, I don't know if it's magic, but my body seems to have switched on. I feel more alert, even in the part I'd already retired." Not magic, well-applied physiology. Your body knows how best to absorb water. Respond respectfully to that need, and it rewards you with energy, mental clarity, hormonal balance, and potency. Many men struggle not because they drink too little, but because they don't follow the right method, so the results lag behind expectations. Part 4. Innocent-looking habits that quietly dehydrate you from within. It's discouraging to do everything right and not see the expected result. I often see this in the office. Men who started drinking regularly, avoiding excess coffee, keeping a schedule, then return saying, "Doctor, a little better, but not as I hoped." That was the case with Senor Ernesto, 74, a retired aviation worker. He followed our plan to the letter. Warm water in the morning, small portions through the day, no ice or excess. Yet results were underwhelming. Energy played hide and seek, focus dipped after lunch, productivity didn't return. I dug deeper into his daily habits and found the truth hidden in routine. Morning coffee, a glass of wine at dinner, high-water fruits like watermelon and oranges followed by large glasses of water. Seemingly healthy choices, but they sabotage the outcome. Coffee and alcohol are diuretics. They make you urinate more, quietly draining fluid even if you don't notice. Trying to catch up later is often too late. Another critical mistake: drinking lots of water immediately after high-water fruits. This dilutes digestive juices, impairs absorption, and can cause bloating, gas, and nutrient loss. Many don't realize another common error: excessive, rapid water intake without control. It can overload the kidneys, wash out key minerals like sodium, potassium, and magnesium, and create internal imbalance, even if you seem well hydrated. For Ernesto, small adjustments were enough. Drink water before meals rather than right after fruit. Cut back coffee and remove alcohol before bed, and add a pinch of sea salt to the first morning glass to support electrolytes. Within days, he told me, "It feels like my body is catching on. I'm steadier, more balanced, and I feel clearly better." Sometimes the key is not adding more, but removing what keeps you stuck, often without your awareness. Free yourself from these small energy thieves, and hydration begins to work at full power. Part 5. Research confirms that when enough water enters the body, all systems work optimally. This is one of the most gratifying phenomena in medicine, when science confirms what many men know from experience. The body truly responds to self-care, and it's not just subjective. The results are observable and measurable. A good example is 70-year-old Senior Carlos, a man with no specific illnesses who no longer felt alive. He complained of vague symptoms. "Doctor, I seem to just exist. No clear complaints, but the sparkle is gone, libido is gone, thoughts are slow, skin dull, and my energy fades by noon." Blaming it on age, he thought it was normal at 70. But one question: how much water do you drink per day? Changed everything. "Ah, doctor, only when I remember. I rarely feel thirsty," he said. That was the danger. Many older men have a diminished thirst sensation, but that does not mean the body doesn't need water. On the contrary, it signals stress and suboptimal function. I gave Carlos specific guidance. Sip throughout the day, no big gulps, no cold water, room temperature, seated, and focused on the act. 6 weeks later, he returned transformed. A clear mind, healthy skin tone, normalized blood pressure, and, remarkably, erections returned. Spontaneous, strong, natural. His wife noticed and asked one evening, "You've changed. Your eyes look different." That touched him deeply because he realized this was about more than physical well-being. It was about feeling whole again. Science supports his observations. Hydration improves blood viscosity and thus circulation throughout the body, including intimate areas. A hydrated brain performs better. Memory, focus, and mood improve. Restored muscles respond faster, generate more strength and endurance, and fatigue less. Hormonal balance improves as the endocrine system works more efficiently. Most importantly, even a 1 to 2% drop in hydration affects mood, energy, and performance. A man may not notice, but the negative impact is already there. On the other hand, regular, mindful water intake restores vitality, resilience, alertness, and a harmonious relationship with one's masculinity. I see changes like Carlos's every week. When a man understands that proper hydration is not trivial but foundational, his life begins to change profoundly. Part 6. After 60, the body stops hiding your missteps. Around 60, a subtle but important shift occurs. It's not just that the body ages. It stops concealing errors that once went unnoticed. In youth, you could sleep poorly, skimp on water, overdo coffee, and still feel fine the next day. Now, any small misstep is immediate and palpable. That's what I heard from 67-year-old Francisco, a former electrician. At the start of our meeting, he said something that struck me. "It's as if life's volume has been turned down, doctor." He wasn't just talking about libido or energy, but something more fundamental: a feeling of absence from his own life, as if watching it from the outside, unable to influence it. The symptoms were the product of tiny, harmful habits that quietly siphoned his vitality. As we spoke, a pattern emerged. Water had dropped out of his daily life. Coffee and beer. Yes, water. Almost never. He only remembered it when his body was desperate, and sometimes not even then. I told him what every man over 60 should know. The body is no longer young enough to adapt quickly. Reserves of energy and strength are smaller. What once passed unnoticed now derails you. Mild dehydration already affects blood pressure, circulation, mental clarity, mood, sleep, and erections. So we began with a simple protocol: room temperature water in small sips, evenly throughout the day with a pause before bedtime. Do not rely on thirst as a signal. Drink seated in calm moments. 2 weeks later, he reported that mornings were easier. He felt more alert without the usual fog. In the evening, to his surprise, his body responded confidently and naturally. Best of all was the change in posture. Sharper gaze, surer stride, a spark in his eyes. I hadn't realized how far I'd drifted from myself until I felt wholeness returning. Water can do that. After 60, it is no longer a detail, but a priority, because your heart, brain, kidneys, skin, energy, even your manhood, depend on the most neglected foundation: proper hydration. The best part: it's simple, accessible, and can start today. Part 7. The 7-second morning trick. Start your day with the right step. Activate your body and circulation by drinking water in the morning. To boost its effect, add a simple, effective ritual. After your first glass, inhale deeply through your nose, hold for 3 seconds, then exhale slowly through your mouth for 4 seconds. Repeat this cycle twice, focusing on each breath. In about 7 seconds, you stimulate the production of nitric oxide, the natural gas your body makes that helps dilate blood vessels, improve circulation, and lower blood pressure. When you are well hydrated, this simple exercise enhances blood flow, including to the intimate organs. It requires no equipment and no limits. Just perform it mindfully with your first morning glass. Senor Rogerio, 71, began his day this way. At first, he thought insignificant, but within 2 weeks, he noticed positive changes: more oxygen in his lungs, mental clarity, lightness in his body, and most importantly, confident nights with a natural depth he believed lost. "It's as if I open a valve in my body," he told me, "as though water and breath merge to create something incredible." Here is what I want to convey. Water moistens the soil. Breath completes the cycle. Together, they trigger the mechanism that nourishes the foundation of everything: free, healthy, purposeful circulation. The beauty of this tiny ritual is that it fits any schedule. It's discreet, simple, and its benefits accumulate over time. In minimal time, you shift your body into a state of natural readiness, where hydration's effect is amplified and spreads throughout the body. Part 8. Your daily hydration practice: plain, effective, and practical. One of the most common requests I get is, "Doctor, I understand, but what exactly should I do?" After 60, no one wants vague answers. Men want clear, effective steps that deliver tangible results. That's why I've built a hydration routine based not only on science, but on real-world experience with men who restored their vitality through simple, consistent actions. Start the day with a full glass of room temperature water. Drink slowly, seated, before any coffee or food. This first dose wakes the body, activates digestion, and primes circulation for the day. To enhance the effect, add a pinch of sea or Himalayan salt to help retain essential minerals naturally lost during the day: sodium, potassium, magnesium. In the morning, have another glass without rush or excess. The key is a steady rhythm, not waiting for thirst. At lunch, avoid drinking during the meal. It's best to have half a glass about 15 minutes before, and resume fluids only 30 minutes after. This prevents diluting stomach acid and supports efficient digestion. Mid-afternoon, especially after coffee or time in the sun, drink another glass, again without ice, slowly and calmly. Drink mindfully, as if filling your body with clean energy. Early in the evening, add one more glass, but stop at least an hour before bedtime to avoid nighttime bathroom trips and ensure better sleep. That's the foundation. Adapt it to your schedule while following 3 main principles: room temperature, small sips, and regularity. Do not turn this into a daily burden with a jerrycan on your back, or set unrealistic goals. What transforms your body is not the total volume, but the rhythm and awareness of when and how you drink. This discipline changed the life of Senor Ricardo, 66, a former firefighter who came in tired, with fluctuating energy and almost no sexual function. 3 weeks after starting this regimen, he admitted, "Doctor, it feels like my body listens to my commands again, and most importantly, it responds when it matters." That is the difference between merely drinking water and truly hydrating. Over decades of practice, I have met men convinced they were broken. That age had taken their energy, strength, and desire. In many cases, the issue is not hormones or psyche. The body is simply signaling for help. Today, you've learned that hydration is not trivial. It is a key factor in full body function. It fuels circulation, testosterone, mental clarity, strength, and sexual activity. It is the base on which everything rests. And the best part, it is available to everyone. It doesn't depend on chance, but on your actions. Your body can still operate at full capacity. It remembers how. It just needs the right conditions to reawaken. Start with the simplest thing, a glass of water. Be attentive to your own rhythm. Stick to the plan. Your comeback is an inner process, and it begins today.